Okay, so I covered a story yesterday about the Jacksons, a black couple out of Dallas, Texas. Rodney Jackson and his wife, Tamisha Jackson. They just had a healthy baby by the name of Mila on March 21st, 2023. Their baby was pretty much kidnapped, and quite a few people have been asking what they can do to help in this situation, but stick with this video. I'm going to get to it towards the end, so just hold tight. So a little more about their story, because some people may not have seen that video. They chose to have their baby with a licensed midwife, okay? Now, many people are choosing to use a midwife nowadays. It's nothing new. More black people are choosing to use it due to racism and discrimination at the hospitals. So what they did was they contacted Dr. Cheryl Edenberg for her services. And Dr. Cheryl Edenberg, she's a professional midwife. In addition, she's the owner of the Tree of Life Health Wellness Center, okay? So Mila's born, the baby's born, healthy baby. They had the baby at home. After they had the baby, Rodney and Tamisha took the baby to a routine checkup to a pediatrician that they were familiar with. Now, they kind of have a history with this pediatrician, and his name is Dr. Anand Bhatt, okay? Now, when they took their baby to this doctor named Dr. Anand Bhatt, he noticed that the baby had jaundice. This is very common, okay? So after he noticed that the baby had jaundice, he gave them some suggestions as to what he felt they should do. And being that they didn't move at the beat of his drummer when this Dr. Anand Bhatt was saying that they should do it, he threatened to call child services on them. And in addition, he actually did call child services on them in an effort to have their child taken away. Now, he actually did do it. It worked. And, things have to be done about weasels like this Dr. Anand Bhatt character, because he can't continue to go on and keep treating our people like this. But I want you to listen to a professional, Dr. Cheryl Edenberg. I want you to listen to her explain what jaundice is in a newborn, how this goes, and why it made no sense for this Dr. Anand Bhatt to call child services on the Jacksons.
And then there's the physiological jaundice, okay? Pathological jaundice shows up within 24 hours of a baby being born, and that is an emergent situation. Part of her discharge was explaining to her that if your baby shows any signs of jaundice, and those signs are yellowing of eyes, yellowing of skin, yellowing of gums, yellowing of extremities, please reach out to me ASAP and call 911. That's an emergency. Any jaundice after 24 hours, and it is textbook, and it is also utilized by the hospital, is considered physiological jaundice. Physiological jaundice is a normal occurrence. There are several people, if there's any mothers here today, I'm pretty sure your babies, when they were born, had jaundice. And the key to that is to get the bilirubin, which is a byproduct of the red blood cells, to leave the baby's system, because the babies cannot digest bilirubin, right? And so what that looks like is it comes out in their eyes and their skin. Well, when it's physiological, normal jaundice, which is what Mila had when she went in, it is a condition in which the mother's body has everything the baby needs, and all the baby has to do is have plenty of pee-pee and poo-poo diapers and be exposed to the sunlight. In this case, I FaceTimed this mother, and she was feeding Mila, and I talked to her for about an hour, and this mama's milk is so good, like literally, just to be honest, it is what it is, and our bodies are beautiful. She has milk skeeting out. So Mila breastfed from both breasts at least, let's say, 15, 20 minutes. And she birthed her. And then while we're talking, she went right back to the boob, because we believe in feeding on demand. And if your baby's looking for it, you give it to them. And so that's exactly what was happening. So Mila, from what I read, it was 2 ounces every 3 hours. But even if we say it's 3 ounces every 2 hours, Mila was getting way more than that. The problem is that the situation here is this. Her body has she's been designed to have everything her baby needs. Very sufficient to give her baby all she needs. So her body produced exactly what Mila needed. Mila got more than 2 or 3 ounces of milk every 2 hours. As a matter of fact, the next day, part of assessment is we FaceTimed again, and this time to see how Mila's eyes and her skin looked, and she was clearing up beautifully. Mom sent me 3 diapers within less than a 24-hour period, 3 blown out poop diapers. So the bilirubin was leaving her body as it would do physiologically. Now, textbook is textbook and life is life, people. If you can't combine those two and make the right decisions, then you mess up and you make decisions like you made to call CPS for physiological jaundice. That is a normal condition. CPS has enough to do out here for kids that are really getting beat, really being abused. This child was being nurtured, this child was being supported, and this child was being loved. And this child was kidnapped. And Mila needs to be returned home today.
Okay, so there you go. So why did Dr. Adnan Bot call Protect Child Services on the Jacksons? I mean, the baby didn't even go to the hospital once they took the baby. So try to make that make sense. You can't make it make sense. If something was wrong with this baby, when they took the baby would have went straight to the hospital. The baby didn't. The baby is in like some kind of with a foster parent or whatever they do. But the only reason why I think somebody would do this to separate a mother from her baby when a baby needs her most, there has to be a sick, sinister person. And this guy, Dr. Adnan Bot, this weasel, he needs to be called on for this. He needs to be exposed for this. And me personally, I believe that he's just upset that this black couple decided to have their baby at home with a midwife, and they did not tell him what was going on in their life. Okay, this is what I believe, in addition to him just being a sinister person who doesn't have any respect for a black family. But there are some things that we can do, to help this family out, get their baby Mila back, and also to have this weasel Adnan Bot looked into, this doctor who actually did this, okay? So there's some things that the family is asking that, people could do to help support them, okay? So there's some slides that are popping up on the screen. They have the numbers at the top on each slide. They're actually going to be 3, okay? 2 of them are going to have numbers. 2 of them have numbers. 1 of them doesn't, because 1 is for, your legislator or whatever. But the 2 are numbers, okay? The ones with the numbers on them, they're 2 different places, and you can call them, and the script is right there that they want you to use or say to have this Dr. Adnan Bot, this sinister-minded individual here, to have him investigated for doing these things, for abusing his power. This is totally wrong. It costs nothing, but it'll help a lot. Now, I'm going to read off of one script what it says. Remember, there are 3 different ones. The numbers for 2 are at the top, okay? Basically, it says, I'm calling to demand that Dr. Adnan Bot be immediately investigated for his role in the unjust removal of Mila Jackson from her home. I'm also demanding that Baylor, Scott, and White publicly call for baby Mila to be reunited with her loving family today, okay? So I guess you should try this during the week, during office hours or work hours, screenshot these numbers. Just go ahead, screenshot them. It's 2 different numbers there. Use that script. Send this video to your people. Send these screenshots out, whatever. Tell everybody to get on social media, whatever. Call. Let these people know. It doesn't cost anything. It'll really help this family out. And hopefully, doctors like this guy, Adnan Bot, he will, people like him won't be able to do these things anymore in the future. And, they still will. But when they do, they should know that they're going to be held accountable for this. So we need this guy, Dr. Adnan Bot, removed. I wouldn't care if he lost his job or his license. This is a person who abused his powers as a doctor. We have a doctor calling Child Protective Services. You know what that sounds like? It sounds like somebody needs to respond when you have a pediatrician basically calling for nothing, for absolutely nothing. Anyway, easy.